Hey guys, so this is my short little songwriting lesson I want to give you guys. It's really cool and it's applicable to any style of music actually, which is really cool. I learned it in 2000, like the beginning of 2016. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. So maybe some of you guys already use this technique, or maybe some of you don't. I'm going to show you on the marker board. But what I usually do it is in like a composition book like this. So if you just grab a composition book, some scrap paper, a notebook or something, you can keep all your songs in. It's great. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is, with the songwriting technique, you'll notice I don't even have my instrument on me. I play guitars, I play 7-string guitars, progressive rock, I make electronic music. I do all of that, so it's applicable to anything. I also make pop music and R&B and stuff as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off by, not with your instrument, but you're going to start brainstorming the idea of the song. Because as a songwriter, you're not just writing for your particular instrument, but you're writing an entire song, which includes drums, synthesizers, vocals, bass, guitar, so all of those parts. So how I usually start off is I start off with an intro, right? All right, here, intro. How do I want my song to start? Now, I think people do this, you may do this mentally, and that's great. If you're doing it mentally, that's perfect. But you see, I start here with an intro, and the more you do this, you might be able to do it mentally too. And I decide, like, how do I want my song to start? What do I want the feel to be? How do I want it to emotionally feel? You know what I mean? Because with our music, we're trying to express our emotions. So I might start with something like, okay, well, let's say I'm going to do like a progressive rock kind of example, because I'm really into progressive rock. I'm going to say I want to start off with like some really dreamy sounding synthesizers. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to put that here, dreamy synthesizers. I'm going to say I want the dreamy synthesizers to be like, and I want them to kind of just like start fading in at the very beginning. But they're going to fade in. And on top of that, what I'm imagining right now is like drum cymbals and like light drum cymbals and maybe some bells or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so some light drums. Cymbals, bells. So I'm starting to line up like how I want my intro to be. So kind of like have these synthesizers, they're fading in. I want these drums, these light drum hits, and I want it to like to pick up a little bit. I want it to pick up. Drums pick up. The drums pick up. Pick up. And I want to have that like a radio sounding guitar like come in, like fading in as well. And then like a radio sounding guitar. Radio sounding guitar fades in, and I want the guitar. Now you can get wild with this. Like you can go all kinds of different directions. You can be kind of really loose and vague about it. You can be very, very specific too. Like I could say very easily, I want this all to be in the key of G, and I want like the guitar to be like G major. G major. I want the guitar to be kind of like a higher register kind of shreddy motif, like a repeating motif. You know what I mean? Repeating motif, lead. So good. So now I can kind of see that. I see that coming in. And the drums are picking up. And then I'm going to go on into what I want to call the first verse, or verse 1, or you can call it part 1, right? You can call it verse 1, verse A, verse B, verse C, riff 1, riff 2, riff 3, you know what I mean? You can do chorus riffs, you can do verse type riffs. You can actually name, your parts however you want to. It's very easy. You can, do like an AAB system, rhyming scheme, whatever you want to. So next I'm going to go into verse 1. Verse 1. And I'm going to... From here, I'm basically going to just map out my entire verse. The great thing about this technique of songwriting is you're not like limiting yourself. Like you're giving yourself like a direction to go when you do sit down with the instruments. You know what I mean? When you sit down with the guitar, when you sit down with the vocals, you've already got in mind what you want. And it might not be like specific. It might just be like a more of a broad generalization of what you want, but you have it in mind already. And you can experiment with a bunch of different things that would fit into what you're looking for, which is really cool, but it gives you a much better direction, and you'll end up coming out with a result of something you actually want to hear, and something that you would consider to be really, really amazing. And, you know, I'm not saying you guys don't do that already, but in the past, you know, I've struggled if I just sit down and I just start jamming on the guitar, just start playing, I don't actually write a song or something like that, and I can get to like writer's block and things like that. And the only reason is just because I don't have a plan. That's all it is. This is just a plan. You're just planning the song out. But it's very great because I want you to look at this too. So we're calling this song 1. A really good practice too is naming the song right off the bat. Like I'm going to call this like, I'll call it City Night. I'll call it, no, I'm going to call it City Skies. I don't know. I would find something that I really think communicates the song, but City Skies, I'm going to call it song 1. And I'm going to say I want this song to... I'm also going to go ahead and assign it like an emotional, like what kind of emotion, what do I want people to feel when they hear this song? I want to say I want it to be a really dreamy song. Dreamy and tough. You know what I mean? It's progressive rock, you know? I want it to be dreamy and tough. I want to have like some tough, chuggy guitars, but I want to have those really dreamy parts. So I've kind of like decided what the song's going to be here, so I know what's going to work, and I can start adding things in that would fit that category and not add things in that wouldn't fit, like synths or drums or whatever. So you could say this is song 1. You could actually do this with an entire EP or an entire album. You could write the entire EP or album, a general guide of how you want the whole thing to be, from song to song, without ever picking up an instrument, without ever picking up and playing your instrument until you actually get into each specific song, you know what I mean? Which is really cool, because then you can decide, am I going to have like a fast, aggressive song followed by a slow, melodic song, followed by like a really lovey-dovey song? Am I going to have like this really bluesy sounding country song followed by a slide guitar song, followed more by like a honky-tonk? Or, I mean, you know what I mean? Like whatever style or genre you're playing in. And so I would go on, you know, I'd go on into verse 1, and I would say, you know, verse 1 continues with that guitar motif, but no longer radioed. Just like it comes into perspective. Continues guitar motif with accompanying bass and drums, and a syncopated rhythm guitar. So that's kind of like going to be my first verse, right? And I could say I want it to be like I want the rhythm guitar to be a lot of space in there. You know what I mean? Lots of space. And I want to say I want like a lot of like open sounding chord, like you know, like maybe some faster like chord changes, things like that. Faster chord changes. With open dreamy sound. And I would literally just continue on through the whole song, just figuring the whole thing out before I ever pick up my instrument. And I think this is a really great, I don't know if you guys have ever tried this. I really strongly suggest you try this, like with one song first if you want to. Just you know, write out an entire song, what you're imagining. Imagine the whole thing up before you start actually writing it with your instrument. And then, yeah, and I really think you'll do well if you do this, and you'll do some really cool songs this way. Now, I'm also going to be doing, I also have a class on my website, dakotapetrie.com. You can find it in my Instagram link. Or I'll send you, you know, you can go to it's in my email address there, so it's dakotapetrie.com. I have a how to produce a song. It's a full course, one-on-one with me. It's on my website. It's about a 4 to 5 hour course you do one-on-one with me, and I go through every process of producing a song. Songwriting, recording, mixing, mastering, and distributing your song everywhere. So if you're interested in that, go into my website. Also, give me an email back. Let me know what you think about this, or if there's anything else I can cover that might help you guys out. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.